Hello everyone, this is a Steven Universe discussion video on what would happen if Steven got poofed. Now, this is a question that has been thought of, asked, and even discussed and theorized here and there all throughout the internet and pretty much through time as we know it, and pretty much ever since, I think it was been brought up twice. Yeah, it has been. Once, if you counted at least, was with the classroom gems. So like those little chibi forms of them and like the little pearl that I sometimes use in my videos. Steven kind of asked, oh, what would happen to me if I were poofed or something like that? And they just kind of said like, oh, we're out of time, and then just kind of ended that episode. Then if you don't count that one, then the actual one would be from when in the episode Bubbled, when Eyeball was trying to pretty much kill Steven. He even asked himself, what would happen to me if I were to be poofed or shattered or anything like that? What would happen to him? And from that point, I'm pretty sure people can speculate that they're either just gonna fully explain it throughout the series or just have like an entire episode explaining it, or a better storytelling way, which is most likely to happen, they will show you what will happen. So through the episodes, they'll actually have Steven be poofed and everything. So let's just say that, Steven does get poofed. That leads into a bigger discussion question, or even just a greater theory, and that is, would Rose come back if Steven were to be poofed, or will Rose come back? That's a very great question, and that has also been discussed and theorized here and there. Though there's kind of two groups or two sides to it on how you see if Rose would come back into the series, and by that I mean like, would she show up in the present storyline at least? Would she actually like interact with, Connie, Greg when he's like in his 40s, and especially, Steven if he's there or not? That's what people are saying, in the present time, that's that group. Yeah, she will return in one way or another. Or you're on the other side of saying, nah, Rose isn't going to come back, and she's going to stay inside Steven's gem, or, just be inactive and not here in the present time, and just going to be shown through stories, flashbacks, and then just kind of like war flashback stories. It's pretty much only going to be that. Now, when it comes to this type of thing, or at least like, this topic, I would say that I wouldn't want Rose, to be in the present story. I just don't think that it would really fit, and kind of kills like a bit of the mood or just feeling that she probably could have came back anytime that she really wanted to, but she just wanted Steven to have a life. But I don't know. That's like getting into true specifics there. I wouldn't know how the Crewniverse would write something like this. But to further expand this discussion is to, let's just say, actually have Steven be poofed in this series. So let's just say that, he's on a mission with the gems, and then he just somehow gets poofed. I don't know the specifics on how he would get poofed, but just go along with it. He gets poofed. And then, of course, Rose would be formed. And why I say Rose and not Steven is because Steven didn't have, original possession of Rose's gem. The gem originally belonged to Rose. It's, technically her gem still. They kind of even call it, Steven has Rose's gem, things like that. Because of that, the gem, if the gem would be poofed or something like that, whoever has possession of it, the gem would form the original person who had the gem. Now, I'm not saying that's 100% true, but I have a feeling that's how it would act, because it's still technically Rose's gem, and then Rose had to go through a whole bunch just to even have Steven born, because she's not human. So, Rose is formed, and now what? All the gems, Connie, Greg, and even a bit of Beach City, or just most of it, would question and more or less mourn the quote-unquote death of Steven. I know he's not dead, but, they think he pretty much is since he's not there, or something like that. And the gems, and especially Rose and Greg even, would try and find a way as fast as possible to get Steven, back to life, or things like that, or have him formed again without, doing something truly extreme. How would they get Steven back, though? The best way I could see them getting Steven back within a plausible scenario within the Steven universe per se, and that is to have, let's just say that Rose has mastery over her gem or something like that, and she just focuses really hard with inside of her gem and just shapeshifts back into Steven, because she technically shapeshifted into Steven in a way. She shapeshifted into a womb for Steven to be born. So it's either she shapeshifts into Steven or she shapeshifts into a womb again and then has Steven born again. So Steven would be reborn. So he could have like 2 birthdays or something like that. And, if the gems don't want to wait for Steven to age or something like that, they can just have him focus or just have a way for him to age again, because he does have, controlling of his age powers or something like that, or he can age at will. Not perfectly, or he doesn't have mastery over it, but he can do that. He's done it about 2 times now. And when he would be reborn, I wouldn't say that, he would lose all of his memories, because, he's technically not dead. He's just no longer there. So I'm pretty sure he would still have his memories, because, every other gem, they get poofed, and they still have their memories from thousands of years ago. So I'm pretty sure the same thing will go with Steven. It's kind of a half and half thing, since he's half human, half gem. So that's how I see that happening. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I need to talk about for this discussion. I'm sorry if it seems just a little bit off compared to my other ones, because this one kind of messed with my head a bit, trying to think of all the possible ways of how this could happen and so on and so forth. And then there's also the final possibility of this could never happen in the story. Simple as that. They just won't let it happen, or they just won't write it that way, or things like that. So Steven won't get poofed at all in the entire series, and they'll just leave it kind of as those things for us fans to talk about. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Have any questions, comments, or concerns, or any other discussion topics you want me to talk about. I'll leave a little comment that says leave discussion ideas here. One drawing fan art for the channel would be greatly appreciated. I'll have my email in the description for fan art if you want to send me some, if you want to. And then everything else, you know what to do. Thank you for watching, and have a great day or great night. Bye.